Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we are going to go through all of my pens that I use for bullet journaling, working, and all sorts of things. Primarily, this is going to be showing you all of the pens that work well and the ones that don't work well with the Tombow Dual Brush Pen and the Zebra mild liners. I do plan on making maybe another one of these videos because in the past, I have just used a typical bullet journal for my journaling, and this coming year I plan on ordering the Hobonichi Techo Cousin, which I know has very different paper than what the normal bullet journal has, so I want to do this again with these pens on the Hobonichi just to see what the differences are, if it bleeds through, and how it works with that particular paper. So if you would be interested to see how these pens work with the bullet journals and with the Zebra mild liners and the Tombow Dual Brush Pens, then just go ahead and keep watching. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is organize these. I do obviously have pens that are multiples where they have them in all the different colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get them all bundled together and we'll go through each one by one to see how they react. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so I had to back you up a little bit just so I can show you all of the pens that I have currently spread out on my desk. So as I said, I have a lot of pens that come in a bunch of different colors, but they are essentially the exact same pen, but just in different colors. So I'm only going to show a handful, like basically one or two of each, because essentially if this one works, then you know that this one's going to work, and then you know that this one's going to work because they're all the same. So we're going to go ahead and walk through each one so I can show you how they work, if they bleed, you know, how they react to the papers and how they react to the Tombow Dual Brush Pens and the Zebra mild liners. So the first one we're going to go ahead and walk through is, I'm just basically going to go top to bottom from left to right. The first one I'm going to talk about are these LePens. They're pastel colors. They do come in this really nice case, which kind of has like a standing option if you just roll this down. These say on the case, actually, it says it's quick drying, smear resistant with vivid colors. So I'm just going to show you the gray and then one of the lighter colors. I usually end up trying to go, this is one of my favorite colors, so I'll show you this one. First, I have my bullet journal. We'll go ahead and just put that down. Zoom in a little bit. So we'll go ahead and show you what the teal looks like and what the gray looks like on the bullet journal. So we've got and then we've got the teal. On the gray, we'll do the Tombow. And then on the teal, we'll do the mild liner. So the gray seemed to smear just a slight, it's not bad with the Tombow, and then the mild liner was perfectly fine. And then if we flip, it does not bleed through. So these pens, the LePens, do very well on bullet journals. They don't bleed, and then they work very well with the Tombow Dual Brush Pens and the mild liners. So then the next pen from the top is these. I just bought these off of Amazon, and these I bought 100% because of the jetpens.com. I think his name is Josh, said that this was one of his absolute favorite pens. This is the Sarasa Mark On from Zebra. This is the 0.5. This is the one that I'm currently using. And then we'll do one down below, Tombow at the top, and mild liners on the bottom. As you can see, it did smear on both. One of the things with this particular pen is if you let it sit for like 5 seconds, then it does not smear. Because this is the one that I end up using for my bullet journal all the time. I haven't had any issues with smearing, but typically whenever I use this, I end up writing and then I will highlight shortly after. So this one says that it can stand up to highlighting after just 5 seconds. So I did not give it 5 seconds. So let's try it one more time. And so we'll do this. And let's try it once more. So as you can see, it's still smeared. I don't think it's smeared as much, maybe. I'm not sure. So typically, this is my favorite pen. It typically doesn't bleed like this, but I do love these pens. I use them a lot, and this is basically my favorite pen. All right, the next pen at the top are these. So these are the Frixion fine liners from Pilot. These are erasable. You're supposed to use this little colored cap. So I'm gonna use a black so you can see the smearing. I'm gonna use the black one. Let's go down here. So this is the black color, but as you can see, it doesn't really show black. It's more of a gray. Let me do one more line, and then I'll show you the erasing part. So we'll erase this top one using this cap. And so with this, it's a technology where heat will erase it. Unfortunately, I don't like these nearly as much as the ones I'm gonna show you in a little bit. You have to like bear down really hard to make these erase. And even then, they don't really erase very much. Oh, and let me show you up here if they bleed through on the back. You can see it does not. Using the fine liners, let's see what it reacts to on these. So as you can see, it barely smeared at all. It just kind of faded the color a little bit, but overall it worked really well with the Tombow Dual Brush Pen and with the mild liner. These, like I said, are supposed to be the thermo-sensitive ink and erasable, which I don't like the erasing. I don't use these very often, primarily because the whole point of using this was to erase, but it doesn't erase. So then the next ones are these, and again I'll use the black. These I bought on Amazon. Some of them say touch and some of them are just in Japanese characters. These are the Pentel Art Sign pen touch. They're a brush pen. They're a Fude touch. I got these so I could try to practice brush lettering, and I'm not good at it. So we have this Tombow mild liner. So as you can see, it barely did any kind of bleeding or feathering. And then if we flip to the back, right here, you can barely see any writing. So these do very well with bullet journals. So now we have the next ones are all of these, which I have a bunch. These are the other version of the Frixion line. These are the pens from Pilot, and these have the erasable tops. I do have, I will say, these are black. It's a black ink. It's got a white base, but it is black ink. This is the 0.05. This one is the 07. I'm going to show you the difference. I like the 5 better than the 7, and you'll kind of see why. So this one has a different clicker. This one, you pull this instead of a normal pen where you hit the top. So this is the 5. So then for this, you use this cap and you erase. Again, you gotta press pretty hard. This one erases, this erases better than this one. I did a lot of pressure and it still didn't wanna come off. So we have this one. And so with this one, the 0.5, you can see it barely bled and it barely bled. So these are really good for bullet journals. This is a pen that I did use for the most part until I got the Mark On. And then I want to show you the 7. I'll do this. So you can see the differences. I mean, obviously you see the differences between the 5 and the 7. And then I'll erase just so you can see. It erases pretty much the same as the other one. Brush pen and mild liner. just like the 5, it works really well. The only thing I don't like about the 7, whenever I would use it, I don't know if it's the pen that I have, but this tends to sometimes feel clumpy. Like I feel like it skips and then a bunch of ink will come out all at once. So it's not a gel pen, so I don't know what the deal is, but I don't really care for the 7s. I end up using the 5s for pretty much everything that I use. The next pens that I got were this 3 set from Sharpie, the S Gel pen. I got the blue, black, and red. So this pen, the Sharpie S Gel, is supposed to be a no smear, no bleed technology. I haven't used this in a while, so that's why this first heart came out a little weird. Tombow Dual Brush Pen, the mild liner. As you can see, it smeared just a little bit on both, not anything substantial. And then if we turn it to the back, it's right here. You can't see anything through the paper. So this pen ended up working really well. I did use this after I bought them, but like you saw here, it did have this first part, didn't have any ink come out. And then when I went back over it, it got kind of clumpy. So this one's okay. I did use it for a little bit, but it definitely was not my favorite. And it is a lot thicker. This is a 0.7. And my bullet journals, I usually like to have the 0.5 or less. And then the next pens that I have are these Stabilo Vista Gel pen. These are 0.7s. I got these actually from work. These are the ones I was using for a lot of my note taking, but after using these, I kept going back to this one. I like this one better, but these were the ones that I was using for the longest time. Is that? So as you can see, it smears a little bit on both, not anything very badly, especially considering this is a gel pen. It did pretty well. And then at the back, you can't even see here any ghosting or anything. So, but like I said, I don't really care to write in this big of a pen, and I ended up using the Mark On as soon as I got it. And then the last pen of this top row that I had is this. It is a Pentel Art Hybrid Technica in 0.3. I actually ran across this in a parking lot, so I did not buy this, but I love pens, and so I was like, I'll pick it up and give it a shot. It was in the middle of a parking lot. No one was close, so I knew it was accidentally left. So we have this. This one, I ended up not using all that much. I pretty much use it only in when I'm having to write my habit tracker calendars, because the writing is so small and I don't highlight over it. So I end up using this for that primarily, but I don't really use it for anything else because it does smear. Get that tip clean again. Nice and clean. So then down on this bottom row, I have all of these pens. These were gifted to me for Christmas by a coworker. And these are all the Energel liquid gel ink pens in 0.7. I do, like I said, prefer the 0.5. She gifted me the 0.7s. Yeah, and I also don't have black because I gave this pen to my daughter last year to use for school. So I'll show you this color. So as you can see, it does smear, and so I like using these, but it's definitely a pen that I use for just writing and not for anything having to do with highlighting. And then I have, these are the next grouping of pens on this bottom stack. These I have in a 10, and then I also have in an 8 in the white. So these are all the Jelly Roll. These are the Moonlight colors. I got them primarily because I wanted to see their reaction on black bullet paper. So I'm going to show you on both. It will smear pretty significantly, as you can see, on the Tombow and also with the mild liner. Let me go back and clean these off. as you can see, these do not do well with mild liners or with Tombow Dual Brush Pens. All of the pens are doing really well with ghosting and bleeding through. That is always a plus. But now I'm going to show you where they really work well is on black paper. And I primarily got these because I wanted a white pen. So I have the white Jelly Roll in 8. So we'll go ahead and show you what these look like on black paper. So this is the white 8. And then I really like all of these crazy colors, which is what I bought them for, because they stand out really well on black paper. These are definitely good if you need a pop of color on black paper, or if you just want it for coloring. These are good to color in your bullet journal, but they are definitely not made for any kind of highlighting because they will bleed pretty significantly. Even if you let them sit for a little bit, I still find that they bleed way too much to be beneficial in a bullet journal. And then while I'm at it, while I have the black bullet journal handy, I'm going to show you the other 3 pens that I have that I bought to try out on which would be the best pen for white. So we have the white pens that I had used for black bullet journals are the Pentel Milky Pop pen, Recollection Signature Opaque Marker, Uni-ball Signo Broad, and then obviously the Jelly Roll. So you just saw the Jelly Roll, but I'll go ahead and kind of lay them all out in one section so you can see them all together. So this is Jelly Roll, jelly. This is the Uni-ball Signo pen. This is Uni-ball. This one is the Pentel Milky Pop. And obviously this one has not been used in a while. So this one I hadn't used in a while, but it was very faint. So as you can see, it doesn't really put out a lot of color, even when this wants to work. It's not the best. So this one's probably gonna be thrown away because this one is not a very good pen at all. And then this is the Recollections, the marker. This is marker. Obviously, of these 4, this one has the thickest and I think the darkest payoff, but it does have fading of the white. Jelly Roll is definitely the one that I use the most. The Uni-ball is still really good, but it does have a little bit of fading at the very top, and I just prefer the Jelly Roll before the Uni-ball. This one, however, I do use, and I only use it on the spine of my bullet journal. So I'll go ahead and put down the year using this, so that way it stands out. So this is really the only reason I use this, is for the year on the spine of my bullet journal. I only have 2 pens left that I use. This one is the Pilot Precise V5. This was also my go-to pen when I was working to take my notes, because it was a much finer tip and I really liked it when I was taking notes. So as you can see, it does smear a little bit, but it is a very nice pen. It's a very thin pen. There's no ghosting. And then the last pen that I have is this, the Art number 88 from Stabilo. This I bought when I was at Michael's. I wanted to see what it looked like. I really liked the look of this pen. So I haven't used this in a while, and that's why it skips a little bit. So as you can see, this one does very well with both. There was very little bleeding on this, and it doesn't look like really any on this one. This one is a very good pen if you want something for a journal that you're going to be using for coloring. So these are all the pens that I have currently in my collection that I have used for my bullet journals. There are definitely some that, like this one, is mostly for coloring, and then you have some that are definitely more for writing, not highlighting, and then some that are definitely good for highlighting. All of these definitely do not have ghosting, so you don't have to worry about it. This bullet journal is the bullet journal that you get from Michael's. I'll put the description down below. I think this is 20 GSM paper. I know paper thickness will definitely help contribute to whether it bleeds through on the back page, but I'll go ahead and put the description down here what this paper is, just for your awareness. But these are all the pens that we just went through to show what works well, what doesn't work well for bullet journals compared to how they react to the Tombow Dual Brush Pen and the Zebra mild liners. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. I do plan on having another video go up fairly soon. I will be posting whenever I do get my Hobonichi to compare what the Hobonichi looks like compared to what my current bullet journal looks like, and then how some of these pens react on the Hobonichi paper versus what they react to on this paper. So I look forward to seeing everybody at my next video. Bye!